it.
We'll try to give you a play-by-play.
Bump me in. Here's Mr. Trump meeting with the Senate. I take it pretty much everybody showed up. Not everybody. What did he say? What was his message?
Yeah, Larry, I think, first of all, you're right. It is important who was there. At least 45 of us were there. Leader McConnell sitting up front. I think that he sitting up front, shaking his hand before and after the meeting, that we know that we're on the same team. It was a very unifying meeting. And you know what Trump meetings are like. He's electric. He's got an incredible fastball. And I think that it was just exciting after all he'd been through, how strong this man is. I've never seen someone be able to take all the heat that he's taken and come in there ready to lead. It took him about 2 minutes. I thought of you when he said this. Drill, baby, drill.
Yes.
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 And that's the key to inflation. So he just talked about what we've been talking about.
How about tax cuts?
Absolutely. We got to do the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.
And did he, because, you know, I interviewed him at the Business Roundtable, and he explicitly said he wants that 21% corporate tax rate. He will not go higher. He is not going to junk it. Some Republicans in the House have said nasty, bad things about it. So do you say the same thing in the Senate? He's a tax cutter, not a tax raiser?
He's a tax cutter. He's even going to help out the waitresses out there in the world that are getting tips. The tips.
No tax tips.
He's so proud about that one as well. But your listeners need to understand, if Donald Trump is not elected, their taxes are going up. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which has your fingerprints on it, will go away. There's no way that Joe Biden continues those. But if we don't have them, it'll drown the economy.
What is it? I think it's a total. It came up today at the BRT, but it must be $5 trillion tax hike that Biden would be putting on, which would be catastrophic to the economy. So President Trump talked about all of that. And how was the reaction? I mean, you senators are going to play a major role in something called reconciliation, which is a big budget package, but taxes. It might have permitting reform. It might have drill, baby, drill. Who knows what will be in there? And all you need is 51 votes. I mean, the Senate is going to be crucial to the Trump program.
Right. So we need all three levers. We have to have the majority in the House, the Senate. We need Trump in the White House. And then we can do reconciliation not once, but we can actually do it twice. Big meetings yesterday. Speaker Mike Johnson came over to the Senate yesterday.
Twice in 1 year?
Yes. Yes, sir. We can. We'll have to do two budgets. We'll do two budgets. We'll do it. Yeah, we'll do two budgets. We can do it. And that was exactly Speaker Johnson's message yesterday, is let's take 2 bites of this apple, but let's be ready on day one.
Yes, let's be ready on day one is really, really crucial. John Roberts, our John Roberts, is just one of the best political reporters there is, said that one point about Mr. Trump's visit to Washington, no talk about his own, shall we say, situation, okay? No talk about the judges, really no talk about his own problems. He was really talking about the people's problems and how to improve the country and unify with the Republicans in the Senate and the House. Was that your impression, too, that Mr. Trump stay away from his own issues?
Absolutely, and I think he does that.
Absolutely. You pause for a minute there.
Okay, absolutely. He needs to stay focused on the message of economy and secure the border. Those are the 2 biggest issues back home, and we need to stay spot on those as well. Certainly, some of those other issues are actually helping him, but we need to stay locked in on helping the American people, keeping this working coalition together that's growing within our party.
I saw one of the news reports, Senator Wicker. I saw that, or Senator Marshall, I saw that J.D. Vance wants to band together no Biden judicial nominations, federal judicial nominations, because of what's gone on in the sham trial in New York and elsewhere. Is that a serious matter? Holding up the noms? Or does it matter? You only got a couple of months anyway.
I think we should do whatever we can do to slow up the Biden agenda. I've joined that letter with Senator Vance, proud to do that, where we're going to hold up 44 nominees that are political hack jobs that are going to come in and promote this judicial activation, this weaponization of the judicial system mainly. So I think it's something we can do. And really, the folks back home, they're tired of Republicans turning the other cheek. They're ready for us to stand up and fight. They know that Trump will fight. The Senate needs to stand up and fight, too.
What is your biggest issue now? You heard Mr. Trump today, and he covers what he covers, and it's a wide swath of key issues. What is your single biggest issue?
Well, what the people of Kansas tell me, it is the open southern border and the price of gasoline and groceries. It's that simple.
And what do they want you to do with the open southern border? I was just talking to Congressman before you, Wesley Hunt, a very smart fellow from Texas. And, you know, we're seeing in the polls the issue of deportation, particularly deportation of criminals. But it looks like a very strong deportation program is being greeted with a high, like 70% favorability issue. And I wonder if you're hearing that in Kansas.
It is absolutely crescendoing, and it's interesting. You can argue whether President Eisenhower or Trump had the greatest economy, but the other thing in common here is that Eisenhower was the chief deporter. He deported over a million people one summer, and for the similar reasons as well. If I can do 1 million in a summer, I bet President Trump can get 1 million deported. It's something that needs to be done. We need to get the terrorists, the criminals out of here first.
Now, last one. We have a little bit left. This is June. We have the RNC and the DNC and so forth, but you will come back into session for a little bit before the election, will you not? And what will happen there? What should we be thinking about right now?
Well, I think that the Democrats are going to focus on nominations. There's a farm bill setting out there that we need to take a peek at as well. I think that Republicans should be focusing on a budget process, on how do we meet the budget needs, how do we have a real budget so we can hit the ground running. I think that's what we should be focusing on.
Hit the ground running in 25.
Yes, sir.
Right, but start putting it together right now.
Absolutely.
Well, I hear a lot of talk about that. You know, House Leader Scalise talks a lot about that too, Steve Scalise. And I think it's quite sensible. But, Senator, you got to have the tax cuts in with the spending cuts, right? And the drill.
That's
got
it.
to have it all in.
It all ties together.
And it can be done.
It needs to be done. We need a secure country. We need to drive the cost of gasoline and groceries down. President Trump's the person to lead it, but we need a Senate majority and a House majority.
All right. Senator Roger Marshall, thank you, sir. We appreciate your play-by-play enormously. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.